Hello, welcome everybody to day one of Launch Your Lucrative Service. Okay, so it's actually heal, launch, and lead your lucrative service. Now, welcome everybody for coming in. I'm doing this live on YouTube, as well as in our group, Wealthy Warrior Leaders, which is our Facebook group community. So welcome in. If you're watching this, you are in the right place. Something has called you. I believe the divine universe, your spirit guides, whatever terminology resonates with you. But I believe that's called you here for us to do this quantum growth and expansion, which includes healing together. All right. Now, the reason I've done this 5-day masterclass is because when I first, when I was, so I'm also a doctor, I'm a full-time medical doctor. I'm also a mum to two cheeky, but very cute little boys, aged 4 and 5. Married to my best friend and also an author. And what I found in my journey is that I absolutely love being a healer. But that comes in itself with your own self-healing. And it comes with needing boundaries around being an empath. And this isn't really necessarily, if you're not a healer, that's fine. But if you are here, you are most likely a service-based leader, entrepreneur in some shape or form. You have a service of some shape or form, or you want to maybe do what I'm doing, of having an award-winning service for your clients. Okay, you want to develop that, and I'm here to show you how. Now, this is a completely free 5-day masterclass. The videos will come down at the end of the week, and that's really just to get you into implementation, get you into taking action. But we're really going to be doing this from a space of divine feminine energy, okay, of really being, first of all, you need to be in a state of receiving, and to do that, you need to do healing, okay? Deep healing work. Now, this doesn't need to take a long time. I really don't believe healing needs to take a long time, but it does need to happen. It is, I think, the most important work. You can call it healing work, spiritual work, whatever feels good to you, okay? But that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Now, obviously, there is a disclaimer there that although I am a doctor, I am not necessarily your doctor. So I'm doing this as your coach, right, for this 5-day masterclass. So obviously seek, medical advice from your physician and all of that. But, if you're here, you're really looking to take things to the next level in your life. And what that means is you're called to, especially if things are feeling emotionally quite messy, that's because it's time for certain things in your life to go. Okay, and that might be ending of relationships that no longer serve you. It may well be certain habits that you formed, maybe old stories. It doesn't mean it's your fault. Okay, it doesn't justify or condone, but it is time to move forward. Okay, because it's very heavy energy and it can really weigh you down. And I see this all the time in my patients. Chronic disease, the root cause is not just mental health, but emotional health, to do with your soul, whatever you want to call it, but it really starts from within, right? So within, so without. So this is deep healing work. And how does this relate to launching your lucrative service? Well, if you're wanting to launch lucrative service, there's a reason. There's something's happened or happening, or some, set you on a trajectory to be here. So for me, when I was on my first maternity leave, my first little one, I was really looking for a way to serve whilst still helping with healing and helping people's growth and expansion, but in a way which meant that I didn't have to work long hours, always doing nights and weekends, and missing out on my kids. I'm a very mindful mom, and I wanted to keep it that way. And I was very intentional with my pregnancy that this is how I wanted to be. I had no idea how I was going to do that. but I just knew it had to be something which also was going to provide, you know, for my family from an income point of view. And I really wanted to develop, you know, something of that nature. So I wrote a book called Habits, which if you join our email list, you'll receive as a gift, but it's also available on Amazon. And I'm a #1 best-selling author. And it was really all the habits I did during that initial spiritual awakening, all of the different habits that I was learning. And it was originally 5 years ago now. So it was really at the start of my journey with this, but I wanted to capture it. You know, I really wanted to capture it. And so I really wrote it for myself, just to capture what I was doing that I felt was working well. And then so many of my sort of friends and colleagues wanted to also gain from that, as they were asking me, like, what is this glow you have about me? And you've just had a baby, and just, but it's more than that, it's deeper than that. And I was in the best health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in my life, right? And I feel like from then, that was 5 years ago. So imagine now, I feel like that's just gone from strength to strength. Of course, I've had my own challenges, right? From being in, you know, high dependency units, babies, being in intensive care, being in car crashes, you know, quite severe. So, you know, been in tsunami. So definitely had my own challenges. But it was in those moments that, you know, you're forced to really look at your faith, whatever that means for you, but to really know that you just have to believe. You have to believe, because there is nothing else to hold on to, even physically sometimes. And it is your faith. Okay. And for me, that is faith within yourself, faith in the divine, faith in the strategy you've chosen for your business, faith in the strategy you've chosen for how you want to raise your family, whatever it is. But faith, belief, you know, every single religion comes down to one thing, and that is you have to have faith. You have to have belief. You have to have belief. And so in order to have that belief in our business, because a lot of people go on about strategy, but it doesn't matter about strategy if you don't believe. If you don't believe it can work for you, if you don't, it's not about the strategy. Okay. So it's 98%, not even mindset, I would say soul work, right? That's why I actually have a workshop called Soulful Medicine. So it's really about that deep healing, to really alter those deep belief patterns that you've maybe formed in yourself about certain reasons why, you know, around money, around your money mindset, around relationships, toxic relationships, healthy relationships, you know, all of these things are going to factor in how you do your business, how you lead and launch your service, the intention behind that, right? What your definition is of success. And please do feel free to write these down. Okay, so write down these questions, because I would strongly advise that you journal them. Okay, so what is your definition of success? I'll try to see if I can put some of them down here. I can put it into the chat, into the Facebook group. Okay, so 1 second. Right, so I'll put it here. It's in the chat on our Facebook group. So if you're on YouTube, you can watch this. Okay, just check the link in the bio. So what is my definition of success? And what called me here? And why? What am I looking for with this workshop? Okay, so really, you know, have a think about that. Now, the reason why having I'll just put some of those questions there. So the reason why having a lucrative service, why do I talk about that? Because, you know, I've been that doctor that was close to burnout. Thankfully, I wasn't actually burnt out, because I was doing a lot of meditation at that time, and I was able to see what was going on if I just continued on this trajectory. But burnt out, stressed, working really hard, providing actually an award-winning service, right? I previously had my own practice, award-winning in the NHS. But I was clinical director in the CCG for mental health, and RCGP board member, which is for the Royal College of General Practitioners. So doing very well in my career, but still feeling not fulfilled. And that wasn't from a place of ego or anything. It was from a place of, when you are still paycheck to paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck, and having to come home late, having to work a certain number of hours in terms of income. And yes, I do appreciate that's a lifestyle choice, and I'm talking from somebody who lives in London and very privileged compared to so many people in the world. So I absolutely, completely take that on board and agree. However, when you feel called to serve, right, in this way that you want to serve in this way, it feels fulfilling from that point of view, yes. But it seems to come with these expectations that it's okay to be, hardworking and sacrifice your well-being and your mental health and emotional health. And I just don't believe in that. And I believe that it's really important to take care of yourself, and that you can still, whether you want to work full-time or not, is fine, but you can still have a very lucrative, abundant service, okay? And where, so my service is award-winning. And I say that to you because it's not, it's not what I think about the service, is what to, listen to the testimonials, right? And what do the clients think about the service, and me constantly wanting to up level it. Like, that's a part of my calling, my soul mission. It's not just like a job or a business I've set up to just make some money online. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the difference between being an entrepreneur and having a job and having a career, and what I'm talking about, which is your calling, is very different. You feel called to serve in this way. And for me, that's as a service leader. So you're providing a service, and obviously you're the leader of that. So you are the CEO, you are the boss, you are the leader. And you also need to be doing that in a very abundant, balanced way. Balance is the key. There is no point having an award-winning top service if you are completely booked out, as some people say, okay? But if that's then encroaching, if you're happy to be booked out, that's fine. But if that's encroaching on time with your family, time for yourself, most importantly, getting enough rest and rejuvenation, being able to fully express yourself because you're just stuck behind processes and systems, it's so important that you are molding the service in the right way. Okay, so I have a phenomenal amount of experience in terms of leadership, and I'm constantly learning and growing myself, right? So I'm investing in myself. I think that's so important. But this really, really important to put your service for me, it's an extension of me. It's the service is me. Right, I am the service. Okay, so even though I have like one very part-time amazing VA, Nelson, who's incredible. So yes, but still the service is me, right? And I want my clients to feel that sort of intimacy in terms of our accessibility to have their help. But equally, I want them to be developing that independence and learning that emotional regulation in their business and in their leadership that they're developing as well. Okay, so this is all about being a phoenix risen, not rising, being a phoenix risen, and taking any kind of pain and difficulty that you've grown through, and actually transmuting that into what will now be your service. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about here. It's taking that pain and transmuting it into your personal power. And I think it's so important that we learn emotional regulation. Okay, so in those very difficult times of being in a tsunami, and when I was literally lying in bed after an epidural and could barely move, bottom half, and babies in intensive care, husband's running around the hospital wondering which direction to go in, and you just sort of stop there like, okay, what's happening? Like, I did all the right things and I don't understand why this is happening, and actually just seeing this instead as, okay, you know what, this is just an opportunity for growth, and It doesn't mean that anything bad, has happened, or it's just that it's an opportunity for growth. It's almost like it's happening for you, even though that might sound really odd at the time, but it's happening for you because there's something better on the other side. There's a better way of doing things. And that's why, there were whispers from the universe beforehand, maybe that you just weren't aware of, all of this. And so it's just kind of come in this way. So I think it's really important that we heal that. Okay. Having incredible character is the only criteria for my service. I don't care what gender you are. Not that I don't care, but you can be any gender you like. You can be any race, any religion. Or for me, it's character. That is the most important thing. And having an open mind. Okay. And that also comes into your business and your strategy and the niche and how you're going to do all of that. That's the easy bit, because when you are so in tune with yourself, your intuition is on point and you have such peace in your heart, no matter, regardless of whatever is going on. Okay, whether it feels like it's good or bad, whatever it is, you can feel that peace in your heart, like relative. That is so important. And your service must be born from that place, that high frequency place, is what I'm talking about. Okay, not from a place, you cannot build a business from a place of desperation. Okay, which means that I need to make a quick buck and I need to just make this work. And it doesn't mean it's going to take a long time. Like, you can literally have your service launched as a complete beginner from beginning to end by the end of this week. Okay, 5 days, launch your lucrative service. That's why I've called it that. You can do this. And actually, this is exactly what I did when I was 34 weeks pregnant, in my second maternity leave, and really looking for like another way, because I was like, well, I've written the book and I'd become the mental health director, like I was asked to be, chair as well. But then there were, other processes which meant that didn't happen, which is totally fine. And that happened for me because I knew that was not actually for me. But it just felt like the more that I was looking ahead of me, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go in that direction. And sort of like, I don't know, like no one seems to look very happy in those positions and looking for something different. So that's when I started as a coach, and I wanted to set something up that was for my family, and I just wanted to get it set up. And in 5 days had it all set up. And within a couple of weeks, I had my first pay in full client, £2,500, and now 5K clients, 20K clients, right? And paying in full, no sales calls. There's different methods that you can use, okay? So we can go into that on another day. But the whole point I'm trying to say is, don't worry so much about the strategy. First, you need to heal. Everybody has something to heal. First, you need to heal deeply, which we're going to do right now. And secondly, you need to launch that service. Okay, and there may be some remnants of healing left, and that's fine. But then you're developing those healthy habits now, which is the name of my book, Habits, your 21-day plan to transform your mind, body, and life. So I'd want you to download that book if you haven't already. It's free if you're on my email list. Use the recipes, take what resonates, but integrate that into your life. Okay, this is the warrior lifestyle. Okay, and this is balance. I don't want you like up all night worrying, stressing. No, get the emotions in check and get the healthy habits in check. Take what resonates from it, but do your own version of it, but do it. Okay, and then leadership. But this first starts with self-leadership. So I'm talking about conscious leadership or spiritual leadership, but this is about abundance. Okay, because you can give back more, right? You can give back more when you earn more. The more you learn, the more you can earn, the more you can give back. And this is bigger than ourselves and even our own families. This is even bigger than our clients' families. This is a beautiful ripple effect, okay, through the collective, through our service that you and I are setting up yes, our own services, but they're working alongside, alongside each other, supporting one another. And this is part of a beautiful ripple effect, which is there to serve society. Yes, the awakened form of society, but society nonetheless. And there will be people that will be able to reach parts of society that I will never be able to, right? But because I'm here to hopefully help you, which is what I'd love to do, then I can reach those people. Okay. So it's a phenomenal way to serve. And I think by doing it online means you can reach, there's no limit to the number of people you can reach. Doing it online also means there's no limit to your income. Okay, like I've now matched the income that I make as a doctor, right? If not surpassed that in a day. And the only reason I really continue is just to continue with my service. Yeah, to continue with my commitment to my contract. And I enjoy being a doctor. So until I find a different way of serving as a doctor, then I'm enjoying, the way in which I serve as well, right? So so important that you do it from this place of balance and strength. There are people who have amazing character, lovely people, but you need to be strong, okay? So that when something comes along, you don't just give up. Okay, you don't give up, or you don't lose your morals just because a challenge has come along. That's when you need to stand firm, ground yourself with immense warrior strength. That is true leadership, and which we'll be doing together. Okay, so this first session is really on healing, okay, deep healing. And what I want you to do is I want you to really, this is an opportunity to remove the blocks, okay, from the happiness, the health, the wealth, the leadership, the recognition, the love, everything that you're feeling that you lack. First of all, you have within you. Okay, you have all the love, all the power, all the healing, everything you need is within you right here, right now. You don't need to be anybody. You don't need a certain income. You don't need a certain title. You don't need a different house. You have it all within you right here, right now. But through launching a lucrative service, why are we doing these things then? Because we are a human being. Okay, we are a human being. We're here to have an experience on Mother Earth. Okay, Mother Gaia is here to, we're here to experience a beautiful life. And sometimes that life will come with growing pains. And we can make that into a beautiful life, okay, through service to others, but with boundaries and in an abundant way. Now, I know some people, especially healers, don't like that because they feel like you shouldn't earn too much money as a healer. And in my opinion, I don't agree. Okay, obviously you charge reasonable amounts, but that is going to look different to different people based upon their own experience and based upon their own self-worth as well. And I think it's also important to give back as well. Okay, so it all balances out. Okay, but I think it's important because then the more you're able to earn, the more you can be comfortable physically, emotionally, right? Have a decent sized space so you're not stepping on each other's toes, annoying each other, and be able to have like energetic space, yes, but physical space to house that as well, because we are human beings. We're not human doings. Okay, we are human beings. It's about being. It's about our experience here on Mother Gaia, and that experience can be an abundant one. In fact, I would say it's your birthright. Okay, I don't believe we're born to just suffer. I believe we're born to thrive and live a beautiful life and to help other people to live that too, through each of us having our own unique gifts, which is your service. Okay, even if you and I had exactly the same service, exactly the same offer, maybe even exactly the same like messaging, right, from ChatGPT, you and I are different. Okay, and that is what people are buying. They're buying an experience. They are wanting they want your unique voice, your unique message, the story, the way that the message is packaged within what you look like, that this physical vessel that you've been given, okay, in this birth. That's what because that's something that they resonate with, okay, different parts of different society. So that's a gift, and people want to, it's just an exchange of services, that's all. Okay, it's just an exchange. So the sooner you heal your own money mindset, your own, relationship with money. Often people having relationship issues, this is all about harmony. Okay, this session, if you're having not experiencing harmony with other people in your life, you may not be experiencing harmony in your finances and also internally, right? Because it's all of the same frequency. There's different frequencies of thought. It's called Hawkins' law. Okay, so different thoughts, different emotions have a different frequency. So fear and anxiety is on one frequency. And some people may even be, earning a decent income, but it comes from a place of fear, of lack, of holding on to it tightly because they're so scared that it's going to go away. Okay. And they will often also do things in a certain way to get money. Okay. Because they're so scared. Equally, on a high frequency of abundance and gratitude and peace and love, which is all coming from within the self first. You don't need it from the outside. Like, you want to experience, and it's a need. You would want to experience this with your loved ones, but it's not a need. So therefore, you don't place expectations on them that you have to be like this in order for me to be happy, right? Because that's just being selfish. Yeah. So we're not here to change other people. We're here to focus on our own journey, and everyone is on their own journey, their own unique journey with their own unique divine timing. And it's so important that we get this right, because this is why people, and why I initially also with my own business really struggled at the beginning, even though I was having great success with a lot of clients coming through, but also the kind of people that you're serving as well, and the way in which you serve, and healthy habits, and all of these things come from your internal narrative. So not what I think about you, or your spouse thinks about you, or your friend, or your daughter, or your mom, but what do you really think about you? That internal narrative. Okay. And this is why journaling is so important, because you can see on paper your thoughts. Meditation, which by the way is not trying to go completely quiet inside and not think about anything, and no, it's actually the opposite, in that you actually are going in and sort of like, wow, it's pretty messy in here, and looking at it all, and then doing that from a place of peace, and then healing. Okay. And then sorting out one by one, or in themes of where these thoughts are coming from, and unraveling and discarding what no longer serves you. So we're going to be continuing this in tomorrow's session as well. But what I want you to do is your homework, because I want you to write down what brought you to this session here. So all these questions: what is my definition of success? What called me here and why? What am I looking for with this workshop? Okay. I also want you to write down. Hi, Vida. I can see you in here. Veda Stone and Michelle Scott. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I couldn't see you on StreamYard, but thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. So I just want to do the questions and the homework. And there's so much more I can say about this, and I feel like I really want to say more, but I have an afternoon clinic, and I literally do these sessions in between my clinics, right? So I had a morning clinic and I have an afternoon clinic now. So I'd love to say more, but this is the time I have. Okay, and I've got kids as well. So we will be doing more. I'm coming live every lunchtime this week. Okay, so come in. Don't worry too much about live. I'm a parent. I know sometimes it's very, whether you're a parent or not, just in terms of time, sometimes it's just not possible. And I know that's not always because you're not committed. I think sometimes you're very committed, but you have other commitments. And I don't feel that you need to completely abandon all commitments just because there is, a really important life transforming masterclass on, which is my own. So I do think that is true. But equally, I don't believe, in my opinion, that it has to be live and it's only at this time and then that's it, your life's over. I just don't believe that. And I just think that's putting someone on that scarcity plane, which I don't want to do. But the most important thing is that it is for just this week. And that is not from a scarcity plane, but just to put you into action. Okay, so that we're not just watching videos. But what I want is Awesome to listen in, or you're most welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much. Hi, Marina. Lovely to have you here. And Vaderstone, lovely to have you all here. So thank you so much for joining. So look, today is all about healing and releasing. Okay, so what I want you to do is, I'm going to be doing this as well. So I want you to take your journal. Okay, this is my journal, my beautiful journal. It's got like, you know, like when we pray in Hinduism, we have like the kind of the ash. So I've been getting it blessed. So it's actually just covered in all of this and turmeric. And you know, I'm also doing, you know, my journaling too and everything. Okay, and this is what I'd say is get a beautiful journal. It doesn't have to be a beautiful journal, just use anything. Back of an envelope is fine. The most important thing is you do it more than what your journal looks like. But embrace the growth and expansion is the point I'm trying to say. Embrace it. So if it helps, it's like when you're going to the gym, right, and you're trying to get into it and you're like, well, I'll just buy this really nice outfit and I'll just buy this really nice trainers and this nice water bottle. Like, you still have to do the workout, obviously. Okay, so that's more important than what you're wearing. But this is about being in spirit. Getting into the spirit of things means, if you can, come live, awesome, and bring your journal and, you know, your cup of tea. And, you know, I think this is really, really important. Okay. So what I want you to focus on is healing and releasing. Okay. Now I have a whole program called Heal and Release, by the way, if you really want to go deep. But what I'd like you to do is I want you to write down, journal everything that you are ready to just release. Because I promise you, if you are not experiencing whatever your definition, not mine, your definition of success for you, whatever's brought you to this workshop, there's something you want to go to the next level, right? That next level, you've got to imagine it's literally like you've got to press a button for the elevator and you are going up not just one floor, but maybe a couple of floors. Not everything can come with you. You've got to drop some bags off, okay? A lot of bags. And on that level, there are different conversations, different thoughts, different habits, different ways of doing things. Maybe you wake up earlier, maybe you wake up later, maybe you don't see certain people anymore because they're not good for you. And you know, don't go and have arguments, but just kind of slowly despair. You know, maybe you paint more, you meditate more, right? Even if it's like 2 minutes, right? You, whatever it is, you start to talk more about what matters to you. Like for me, God, spirituality, the divine. I would never have used those words before. Not because I wasn't spiritual, I was very spiritual, but I was so scared of saying it out loud because of what people might think. And, you know, as a doctor, you shouldn't be in a certain way. And, you know, whereas the way I talk here is very different to how I will talk in my clinic. Not very different, but especially about this. And this is the beauty. This is when I had that clarity of mind of like, wow, what I love about my service is I can just go all out. It is literally me, okay? Me unleashed, right? Awakening the warrior within. So I want you to write it all down. Anything that you feel is holding you back. Now, some of those things will be your perception. It's not actually holding you back. Okay, but you perceive that it is. You perceive that that person is stopping you. You perceive that because of this person, or because they said that, or because of this algorithm, or whatever. But it's not truth. I'm sorry, but it's not truth. It's your perception. Okay, if somebody has achieved something that you want, that means it's possible. That's all you need to take from it. That's good. They don't have any different kind of mind to you. But the only difference is, like exercise, is how much they're exercising their faith muscle. Okay, it's not about being some amazing, you know, marketer. It's how much they're exercising their faith muscle, their belief in themselves. And then of course you have to carry out certain actions, like in the gym you have to do an actual workout. But ultimately there isn't a special workout. I mean, of course you have incredible instructors and incredible food plans, etc. out there, but really it all comes down to nourishing your body and, you know, your mind, body, and soul. There's actually lots of different tools to use that. So use what works for you. So I want you to really focus on writing down what no longer serves you. Maybe you're just in victim mindset and you're worrying all the time, feeling fearful and doubtful. And let's say you go live on your Facebook or whatever, and then you don't do it because you think, oh, I need to have a script, or I need this, or I need that. That all needs to go. That is not coming on the next floor. Okay, you need to drop that, let it go. It's going to feel scary because sometimes you feel like, okay, well, I got no bags, I got nothing, because I didn't realize, but that's actually what I was holding on to. That's okay. You'll get new bags. Okay, you'll get new bags. You'll get new, which is one of the bags is new habits, new conversations will enter your mind, new people, like maybe you're new to our community, wealthy warrior leaders who come in. So you'll have new community, right? You'll have new, different ways of thinking even about something. You'll start to look for the opportunity in something. You'll start to call things challenges rather than problems, and it's all over, right? And that doesn't mean you're not acknowledging how you feel. Instead, actually, you quite actively look at how you feel every single day when you meditate and journal. And it's just like brushing your teeth. You don't ever say, sorry, I don't have time to brush my teeth. Do you? You don't ever say, sorry, I don't have time to go and have a cup of coffee. You make time, you just do it. Right? Equally with this, it's easy. It doesn't have to be a hard thing. And your business will therefore also become like that. It will become a business that is basically just you, right? You're just being you. That is your business. And it is a version of you that is calmer, that is happier, that is more balanced, that it really takes care of yourself. And hopefully you're already doing that. And if not, it's like to a quantum leap in that, okay? Where you are really just passionate about what you're doing, you're seeing the results of that now, like the harvest, the cornucopia, and you're actually really enjoying it. And people are wanting to learn from you what you're doing as well. Okay. So I want you to write that all down, what you are letting go of. Once and for all, I'm letting this go. And on the other sheet of paper, I want you to write down what is the opposite of this, because you may not know. If this is kind of new to you, you may have been in victim mindset so long that you kind of don't really know what does that look like, not to be in a victim mindset, okay, to not be blaming the government or be blaming the system. And like a lot of GPs I know, they'll love to blame the system, right? And I'm not saying the system is perfect, okay? Having once been like one of the directors in the system, which is why I left. But I also realize it's such a waste of energy. Like, I'm not saying you have finite amount of energy, but equally, why, when it comes down to gratitude, why also waste something you've been given? Don't waste it complaining and moaning. And I say this with love, but instead focus on your contribution to the world, right? So instead of moaning or complaining or criticizing, well, you do it better then. You do it better and you do it with your service and you do it amazingly, right? You make it badass, okay? And that's going to be a journey, and you just start step by step. And you can all do it, even like a Facebook group like this. It doesn't need to be anything technical or anything in that way. But in terms of your character and what you're giving out to the world and your service, with boundaries and balanced. Okay, so you must be doing it in a balanced way. And that means you have boundaries, okay? And people will respect that. You will start to find that on that other level, there are people who really respect the way in which that you're doing things as well, okay? They're not even thinking about encroaching on the boundaries. Why? Because they have boundaries. Because it's just normal to have boundaries, right? So it's very different on another level. And I'm not talking about people being better than you. I'm talking about character, and I'm talking about self-awareness. This is all about self-awareness. And this is accessible to anybody in the world, okay? So that's what I want you to really focus on. And I really want you to focus on, why do you want this? Like, why do you want a lucrative service? Or maybe there's another aspect that resonates with you more, which is about quantum healing. Or maybe it's more about, you feel like you need to go into hiding because you serve so many people. You do it really well, right? And everybody wants you to be their mentor. Everybody wants you to be their healer. And you just can't handle it. I mean, you can handle it, but you're sort of like, well, that's the most I can do. And I feel like if you're feeling like you need to go into hiding, or you need to just stop what you're doing or do it in a different way, then, I would look at that. I would look at your ways in which you're serving, because there's always another level, right? Maybe you don't want to serve more people. Maybe you want to serve them more deeply. But in order to do that, you need to first serve yourself more deeply, with even stronger boundaries and balance, okay? And yeah, that might require a certain time of like a break or solitude to really go deep. Like, what's his name? Bill Gates, will go to like a cabin in the woods for like a couple of weeks, and he calls it his thinking week or his thinking time, to really just go deep, right, on this specific thing. And then you make changes, and then you go all out. That's certainly something I do every couple of months. I'll really go deep on a particular project, thinking all about that, all the different ways, and then I'll go all out with it. So I think it's so important to do this, okay? Don't skip this, because what you will find, which happened to me before, is you try to just go straight to the strategy, like, yeah, so it's all fine. But when we get straight to the strategy, I need to like make this work like now, and then get straight to the leadership side of things. But it's like you've missed the foundation of the house. You need to maybe even excavate things which should not be part of the foundation of this new house, this new beautiful chapter in your life, this new house that you're building. You actually might to remove, like, there's things which are rotting there from the past, things in your subconscious mind you weren't even aware of, and you need to remove it. And the way you do that is first gain clarity. Okay, like Google Maps, you have to first put in your postcode. You need to know, where am I? That really helps with journaling and ask the questions. So I'm going to put all the questions down, and I want you to really look at that, okay? And then we're going to be doing embodiment work during this week. And like I said, there was actually like so much more that I want to do, but just due to time, and I must start my clinic now, there's only so much I can do. So just make sure you get the homework done. And then also tomorrow we'll be also deep diving, but more into your actual goals. Like, what do you want from this? And more the empowerment piece, okay? It is your birthright to have it all. There's plenty for everybody, okay? So you having it all doesn't mean you're actually having it all and you're taking away from other people. No, that's a scarcity mindset. You've got this, you deserve this, and people need your service. But in order to do that, you need to first do this healing work. I would strongly, I do it every day. I should do it every day. But some people do it once a week, some people do it once a year. But I recommend every day, as just like brushing my teeth, like have my diary. Sometimes I don't even use my diary. I will just, like, as I meditate, and I'm like letting go what no longer serves me, and asking for guidance from source as well for like the next level up or something that I'm not clear on. So this is when you are self-leading, Phoenix risen warrior leader. You're strong, which means you feel all your emotions. There is no suppression here, okay? You feel all of it. Those ugly, snotty cries, I want to see them, okay? So it's not because I'm some sadistic doctor, but I think it's really important to get it out of your system. Otherwise, it does just manifest as a chronic disease, okay? So get out of your system, and that, whether that's journaling, meditating, crying, whatever it is, I'm not saying you do it all day. You just do it, get it done, okay? And then you turn it around into gratitude. Then it's gratitude journaling, okay? Focus on gratitude journaling and really go deep on what can I give thanks for that's happening right now, and for what has not has not happened yet, like the goals that you want, and you have gratitude for that. And that's where we bring in manifestation as well. I will post a video to a lesson I've given on gratitude journaling, so that kind of goes into it a lot deeper. And please remember to DM me your challenges that you're currently growing through. I say growing through your goals, so what you want to get out of this workshop, and just anything else. So just DM me and we can like hash it out on there. I'm here to guide you, here to help you. It's all for free. And then get ready for tomorrow and make sure you get the homework done, okay? Do try your best. I would strongly advise you don't move on to day 2 until you've done the homework for day 1, because everything adds a layer upon a layer upon a layer. We want that layer to be strong, all right? It does not have to take a long time. It can take you like 10 minutes. If you want, you can go all out and do like a beautiful, Indian cocoa ceremony where they, do it on the full moon and release, and I love all that stuff. So, feel free to do that. I absolutely love that stuff. Or light a candle. Or the most important thing, remember, like the workout is you get it done though. Like a HIIT workout, okay, it might be like 5 minutes, bish bash bosh done. But the most important thing is not the writing and all of that, is the feeling. The workout is the feeling. You will know when you've released it. And you don't have to cry for a release to happen. You just need to feel. I tell you what you'll feel is you'll feel peace. You'll feel gratitude. You won't feel any kind of anxiety or anything. You'll just feel very peaceful, very still, very calm. And if you need help with that, reach out to me, just DM me. All right. Sending you so much love and light, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.